What's up, Lady Ray? Checking in, 106 KMEL. Have the honor of speaking to the amazing Ashara Ekundayo here. You're cheesing already, so I'm already feeling the energy.
What up, Lady Ray? It's so hype. I'm good. I'm good, and I'm really happy to be here with you today.
I've said it already. It is an honor to make this connection and have this conversation with you. Being a woman who is a working mom and, really just chasing after various goals and all the work that you've done, not only from a business standpoint, but from an artist standpoint, just all those pieces coming together. And I don't want to say too much. I want you to talk about it. If you maybe would give folks a little background who may not have, had the honor to meet you and see your work.
Oh, that's good. Thank you. Really thankful, really grateful for being able to live my life as a creative, as an artist, and been able to learn a lot, from my creative self. Again, my name is Ashara Ekundayo. I'm an independent curator and a cultural strategist living in the unceded land of the Ohlone Nation in a place called Oakland, California. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So just, honoring the land and the ancestors and those who walk before us and who allow us to be up on this space to be able to live and create. And definitely one of those folks who's an artsy folk, moved to the Bay Area about 11 years ago, was able to connect with some really brilliant social entrepreneurs. And we co-founded a space called Impact Hub Oakland, which just kind of set off the whole social co-working communities, I think, in Oakland that at that time, people didn't really know what it was and what we were doing, but we had a GoFundMe and a Kickstarter, and folks were like, we don't know what you're doing, baby girl, but here, here's some money for it. Go ahead. And then they'd come downtown and be like, what is this beautiful space?
Right.
Created, by people of color who were all artists, so that folks could come in and bring what makes them come alive. And so that was really how my entree into living in the Bay Area came to be. And since then, gone on from that business venture and opened up another art gallery, from 2017 to 2019. I had Ashara Ekundayo Gallery, which at the time was touted as the only commercial gallery in the United States committed exclusively to the exhibition of Black women's work. So I only showed Black girls' artwork. Everything in here was made by a Black woman.
Right.
And much of our audience who came in were folks who really didn't go to art galleries, and we wanted you to bring the babies and come see this, touch this, pick it up. There were things on the floor because we wanted you to engage.
Which is unheard of, right? Because for folks who maybe, thankfully I was fortunate enough to go to a school that, incorporated art museum field trips and whatnot. But I remember going there and being like, stay in a line. You got to follow this way. So I love the fact that you are making it accessible and interactive, because art is all of that, right?
All of that. It's all of, the idea is to drop the barrier or completely eliminate the barrier between the so-called art world and folks, just our folks.
Right.
We need this. And, the whole idea that artists to be looked at and admired on the wall, other than, what Black people know all over the world, is that we make work that is, has a utilitarian nature. It's
functional.
This is for our daily ceremony. This is for us to understand ourselves and making even the mundane things sacred, right? It's what does it mean to I have to stand here and wash these dishes every day? You know what I mean? I got to take my baby to school. What is the relationship that we're having to the things that we created to do that, right? Maybe I got a really dope apron, it was my grandmother's apron and we passed it down and that's what I wear, or it's a quilt, you know what I'm saying? And the stories that come with that are, these are my kids' pajamas right here. And then this piece over here is from my grandmother. And this is from my grandfather's overalls, all of that.
Right.
So, my work right now is really, it just continues to be a conversation of offering what is already ours. It's just our divine birthright, to be our most creative selves. And so what I know is that artists show up first. We show up first when there's a crisis. We show up first when there's a celebration, and we can't stop working. And so, that's artists are going art, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think you brought up a really good point there of, can't stop, won't stop, right? And I think the space that you're working in is creating that value and creating a space where art is accessible and these stories can continue to be told. But then there's also this piece of like healing and saying like, okay, if I need to take a moment, I need to be able to be okay to take a moment, take a step back and figure out what's going on. And that's exactly what I feel like is, and it's so timely that you and I are meeting right now because it is Black August, right?
That's right.
And there's a lot of commemoration happening right now, and I think being able to stop down, especially considering what's kind of going on in the country, not only with the pandemic, but with this conversation on like racial reckoning, all of these things that are happening around us. Like you said, artists are the first to respond and the first to celebrate and the first to. So, talk to me about what you have going on in that space of first responders.
Yeah. I have an organization called Artist as First Responder. So website, artistasfirstresponder.com. It's a 6-point platform that looks at site-specific ceremony. It looks like printing and publishing. It looks at public talks, conversations that we have with each other. There's a lot to be offered when artists and people generally, we want to be generous with each other. We want to give to each other. And then we have to really inspect, I think, and investigate what are the factors that keep us from doing that.
Yeah.
So as you mentioned, as part of Black August, our role, our duty, is to study, is to, fast, is to consider, meditate, right? To fight, and I would add to win. We must win. So as we are commemorating our fallen freedom fighters, we're also centering and celebrating some of our most creative, artistic heroes and sheroes as well in the process, right?
I appreciate that you said heroes and sheroes, by the way. We got to put that out there.
Well, because I mean, come on now.
Yeah, no,
I'm not at all attached to stuck on even the binary that everybody's
right.
You're a she. I mean, we got all of that is in between, right?
We need to stop down to make that, that underline right there. That let's include everybody.
Revolutionaries of all genders. That's what I'm talking about. So, in this work, thinking about what are ways as an artist that I can commemorate as well and bring forward to the conversation, again, a lowered barrier to what does it mean to be a revolutionary, or what does that mean to be an activist or an organizer? Folks see themselves as that sometimes and get upset and, get all salty with folks who do that. Be that as it may, you saw how folks had to get out in the streets. We had to get out in those streets in 2020, didn't we? Regardless of COVID and shelter in places, like, you know what?
This is not okay.
This might be the time you need to pull yourself out of quarantine and like raise your voice, because power concedes nothing. So had we not been out in those streets with our art practice, right? With the chanting, with the poetry, right? With the music, with the dance, all of that was happening. There isn't any movement on the planet. There isn't any organizing or pushing against tyranny that is not rooted in creativity, right? So we got a heck of creative out there, didn't we? So, I'm saying that to say that I'm getting ready to launch for the last part of Black August, this 9 days of radical practice Instagram campaign. So on the Artist as First Responder Instagram, we're going to, thinking about what it might look like from the 21st to the 29th to just offer a mantra, a meditation, just something that you can say to yourself, how when you got to get up and talk yourself into something, and it's like, I can do this. I'm brilliant. I'm smart. I'm beautiful. I can do this. And so this 9 days of radical practice is going to look like, I guess, participating in a daily affirmation. The affirmation is, I claim my peace and my power in this radical moment. And then I'm going to have some list of Black August music, soundscapes, some films to watch, some books to read, some images of revolutionaries and revolutions. So, that's going to be coming up, and I hope people follow us and do the practice with us and just meditate on what that means to honor our fallen freedom fighters, and to not forget our folks who are incarcerated, our folks who are inside, our folks who struggling inside, who died inside, and just lifting up our ancestors. And so by ancestors, I mean those of us here now, in addition to those of us who came before and those of us who are coming after. So, you know, are you a freedom fighter? Do you want to get free? Is your art practice part of that? You know, these are just, you know, questions that are coming up, you know, from the Artists as First Responder platform. And I'm honored to learn from all of us and to be a steward of that conversation that is joy informed and trauma informed, but it's joy informed because, you know, Black joy can't be stopped, right? Cannot.
So talk to me, because, you know, you got the daily affirmations, and I think that that's amazing to do. I do that myself already, and I'm gonna join in with you for the 9 days of the end. Because, you know, we all need a refresher on what those affirmations are, right? And for folks that maybe aren't doing it, this would be the time to start this positive type of practice. So talk to me though, because everything you mentioned is amazing, and some great things to take. But it's all sounds like it's virtual. Are there some in-person things that are going to be going on? Because folks are slowly getting more comfortable. Specifically here on the West Coast, I know in other places they may be out and about a little more. But let's be real, the variant is a real thing and it's out there, but there are still ways to gather and do it safely.
You know, part of what's up and available for folks to check out if you come to downtown Oakland is the Black Joy Story Windows. So this is a 3-block long exhibition, right? So COVID safe, you're outside, you know, wear a mask, social distance, wash your hands, all of those good things.
Right.
But 3 blocks of like gorgeous large scale photography and murals that we curated. So Artists as First Responder, along with the Black Joy Parade and Oakland Central, have curated and put this exhibition together with several other partners. So it's like over 25 Black artists' work up in windows in over 20 small businesses, you know, along that strip. Some of them are Black owned, some of them aren't, but what they all are beautiful. And so that's up now. That's going to be up it'll be up until I think all of the businesses either want to take them down. I can't imagine why they would, because they're so gorgeous. I mean, let me just say, they're images from the Black Joy Parade, images from the Life is Living Festival that usually happens, you know, every October in Little Bobby Hutton Park, also called Defirmary Park. And then images from Oakland Fam Bam, you know, which happens at the lake, at Lake Merritt as well. So Black folks, we are so fine and so beautiful. And, you know, it's been really fun to like watch folks on the gram talk about like, wow, you know, downtown Oakland ain't been this Black since like 1980. You know, like just to see that many Black people.
And it was a trip for me because, like I mentioned, you know, I'm a new mom. I've been working from home. We've been, you know, sheltered in place because I had the little ones around that time, and I'm watching online. I'm like, what? This is great. You know, this is so great to see. And it's dope that we have the tool of the internet and all of that to be able to share all this and amplify it bigger, right? For folks that might not be in the Bay Area or even in Oakland, right? So it definitely is dope to see. And like you said, it'll be out there until it's there.
Until it's not. But, you know, it's a field trip too. I mean, you can put the babies in the back seat of the car and be like, we're just going to drive downtown. And people get to see themselves. Folks didn't know that they were going to be put up, you know, on a wall or on a window. They're like, oh, look, there's a picture of me and I grew up here. And it feels really good to be acknowledged and celebrated in my hometown. And that made me feel good as a curator, you know, as well. And one of the other pieces that is really dope is that some of the works have an augmented reality component to it. So if you have a smartphone and you walk up to the pieces, you'll see there's a QR code next to them. And the QR code downloads this app called Artivive. And so when you download the app and open the app and hold the phone over the artwork, you get this video component. You get to see this whole other aspect of the work.
Nice.
So as an example, Baba Emory Douglas, who you probably know is the former Minister of Culture for the Black Panther Party, right? Which was founded here in Oakland, in West Oakland, 53 years ago.
Give them the history.
Come on, you got to know the history. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to move to Oakland.
Okay.
Was to be part of the history, the radical revolutionary love history that was founded and foregrounded by the Black Panther Party. Absolutely. So Baba Emory Douglas has 3 murals up. So one is a photograph of one of the covers of the Black Panther Party newspaper that came out in 1971. And it's a photo, it's not a photo, it's a drawing that he did of a woman with a tambourine. And if you hold the phone up to it, you get to hear Bobby Seale speak about the importance of revolutionary work, the importance of our voice, the importance of Black power.
Nice.
And, you know, you don't see that when you're just looking at it. You got to hold the phone, and then you get to hear, you know, Bobby Seale is the co-founder of the Black Panther Party with Dr. Huey P. Newton, right? So this is an image that we got to use with permission from both the Huey P. Newton Foundation and from Emory Douglas. And then across the street, right across from it, there are two of his murals that have been reproduced, because, you know, he's almost 80 years old. He's not out there putting up those anymore. So he's not doing that, but he's alive and well and still a big G. You're like doing his thing, living in San Francisco. So his Seize the Time murals are up on the wall too, and they also have an AR component underneath them. So there's a couple of other pieces as well that were put up by the Wakanda Dream Lab. I don't know if you know about them, but just Calvin Williams, shout out to the Wakanda Dream Lab crew too. And so yeah, that's what's up. There was sculpture, there's photography, there's murals, you know, people doing good things.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I love about, you know, the work I'm able to do with the radio station is, you know, we can share these type of stories, and we, you know, can figure out some different ways to amplify these messages and get them out there. Because, you know, let's face it, like, you know, getting out there and seeing the art is one thing, right? But did they know about that extra level of, like, there's a QR code and there's a whole interactive piece and there's more of the history involved. And so, you know, I'm like I said in the beginning, it's just an honor to have this time to chat with you and really just hear what's going on, because with art and the work that you guys are doing, it's definitely, it's got so many layers and the ability to touch so many different folks, no matter what age. We've got so many young people out here that are really getting active and involved and, and using their voice and taking the time to learn the history and learn the history that's not always, you know, given to them, and actually seeking, you know, things for themselves. So I really,
they're making the history too. I mean, these
oh my gosh, yeah,
they're doing it. They are doing it. I have much of love and respect for the young ones who are just coming up. They're not afraid at all. And, you know, and the other thing that we cannot forget is the art form that, like, crosses all boundaries is music. You know, it's so powerful that radio stations like KMEL, you know, and artists and DJs who, like, use the sonic piece, you know, to crack my heart open. You know what I mean? So like, what do we know about the civil rights movements, you know, and what do we know about even before that, the slave revolts, the revolutionary work that was done through sound, through song, through poem, right? So look at the new anthems that have popped up, you know, in the last few years. And, you know, some of it might sound like trap music, it might sound like hip hop, might sound like, but these are anthems for us.
Okay.
Because, you know, if anybody was writing anthems, you know, your boy Kendrick Lamar is an anthem writer.
Oh my God.
Right?
Yeah.
Pulitzer Prize winning poet, anthem writer. We're gonna be all right. Come on, you know that song. But you also might know the song Wade in the Water and the importance of that. Maybe you heard it at church, you know, or maybe you just heard your auntie singing it one night, you know. Maybe, you know, I ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. This is also part of the first responder experience, that your artistic self brings forth this mantra, right?
So what about these young artists that are, you know, learning about all the work that you're doing, the curating that you're doing, the amazing installations that you have? How do they get involved, and how do they maybe get, you know, I don't even know if there's a mentorship piece here or what that looks like, but how do they just submit or even get involved?
Yeah, this okay, this is a good question. I mean, first of all, some folks might only be hearing about Black August right now for the first time.
Right.
What does that mean? How long has that been going on? So here's some places where you can get online and search, what is Black August? What does it mean? Who are the artists who really uplift and really are down for the Black August movement and have been since day one? Some of them, for instance, like Dead Prez, okay?
Right.
Some organizations like Public Enemy, You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
some
Mm-hmm.
musicians like, or poets like Saul Williams, like Rosa Clemente, you know, so where the collaborations at? Who are the folks that you see in your community? I think that's really the first offering that I want to say to young folks, young artists, or folks who are interested, maybe like this is piquing their interest, is who are the young people, who are the young people, who are your peers, but who are the elders around you? They
Right.
don't have to be like elder as in grandmother, but just like older than you.
Right.
You know, it's like,
Right.
who's the 20 somethings and the 30 somethings who are like, okay, they're doing something, you know, find out how they did that. Like, try to interview them, see if you can get 15 minutes on a call with them, or DM
Right.
on on social media. That's one thing that I would say. In terms of artist as first responder, I want, you know, folks to feel like they can go to the website and check out some of the offerings, because um, one of the pieces, one of the aspects of the platform is around artist residencies, and
Mm-hmm.
what that looks like to actually be an artist in their practice and having a
Right.
space to go to. Like, here is your room to like go and create for a little bit, and then to come out with something
Right.
that you want to share with the world, or just to like go in and study. Go put your head down. Like, I want to learn about who are these Black artists. I want to learn about the Black arts movement, or I want to learn about the Combahee River Collective, or maybe I just want to learn about Kendrick Lamar. Like, who is he? How did he grow up? Who are the poets in that line? You know, what does that mean to like also study Marcus Garvey, who's, you know, had a birthday recently? And what does it mean to study Sonia Sanchez? But what does it mean to also study Jessica Care Moore? These like contemporary poets and artists. Like, is that interesting to you? So I'm thinking about mentorship is extremely important. I was a young artist who had really amazing mentors, one of whom I'm still in connection, you know, still in contact with and still connect with from time to time. And look for a mentor and ask and ask. Now, given people are doing a lot of things right now, and a lot is being asked of a lot of people, and specifically people who do a lot get asked to do a lot. So try not
Right.
to ask the person who already has 10 people that they're mentoring, but think about what it means. And it doesn't have to be somebody who does the same thing that you do, but definitely find someone who's doing something that you want to do. But, you know, they might be a doctor, that, you know, a pediatrician, and maybe they have time to be a mentor for you right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's some crossover skills, right? You know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know firefighters. I remember as a child, I remember going on a field trip to a firehouse, and one of the firefighters had their photography up on the wall. And I remember asking, like, oh, you know, who took these photos? He's like,
Right.
you know, I fight the fire, and then I have my camera in the truck, and then I take pictures of after, and, you know, they were just stunning. And I still remember that all these years later, that this firefighter, first responder, was also an artist, and that they have their work up on the wall. So it's
It's
not one
so
or the other.
amazing, right?
It's
Like,
not one or the other. It's like, I got to
yeah.
be a lawyer or an artist. It's like, oh, I can be a lawyer and an artist. So
Yeah.
that's what we want. We want you to make art every day. We want you to see the things that you are doing as artistic. We want you to like push yourself a little bit deeper. Maybe take a class online, or maybe
Yeah.
go to, I don't know, you know,
Yeah.
college. I don't know. Some colleges are open online only.
Right,
And
right, 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 right.
so, you know,
Basically, get out there, get active, ask
there.
questions, do your own research, and once you find that person that you feel that there's a mesh with, put that ask in there and
Yeah.
say, you know, hey, is this something that you can help guide me through? And then give them your website one more time so they can make sure to stay in touch, and also the Instagram too.
Yeah, thank you. The website and the gram are both Artist as First Responder, all spelled out, no cool letter shifting or anything. Artistasfirstresponder.com, and on Instagram at Artist as First Responder. You can also follow me at Blue Black Woman, which is spelled BLUBLAKWOMYN, Blue Black Woman. And yeah, just be thinking about what is it that gets you excited. And I think about my younger son, who probably became like a sneakerhead at about the age of 12. Like, the first time I brought him a pair of Jordans, it was
Yeah.
a wrap.
Yeah.
It was a wrap. And from that, he stayed focused on it. He stayed
Mm-hmm.
focused on fashion and being a designer and following designers internationally, and is still a sneakerhead, which, if you know any sneakerheads, is a problem. They got a problem. They got a problem, man. That said, he's got a sneaker boutique off Lakeshore in Oakland,
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. I laugh with you, and I laughed wholeheartedly because I hear what you're saying. It can be, but it can also be shifted and turned into something very, very big and positive. Now look at your son; he got a boutique.
Yeah, it's called
Mind you, there's a lot of sneakerheads out there. They got a big pile of them sitting by the door.
They got problems.
I can attest to some of that, but.
And then you feed it. You're the parent. I was definitely the parent coming home talking about, ooh, look at these, and
right.
And there were other sneakerheads around. So yeah, so shout out to the sneakerheads who are artists and really have a deep respect, for the look and the design.
Yeah, it's so much creativity.
And their archiving of it.
Yeah.
This is an actual job in the arts industry, by the way.
You do not have to tell me. I know people who have
categorizes and makes notes, and he got all the boxes, the receipts, the bags, all the tags and extra. I'm like,
it's a historian. They're historians. They are artists. They are chronicling. Like it's a lot to it. I know I have folks that they know the souls that go in the shoe, because there's different souls that work with the way that your feet are when you're running. Yeah. Oh my God, it's a lot.
Yeah, I get to hear all that. So I'm just saying, this artist right here. So I'm just saying, people will be like, oh, that's not for me. That's not what we get to do. I'm like, yeah, it is what you get to do, and you do it every day. And you do it when you get dressed. You do it. You put yourself together, and it's all about your shoes, because that's what it is. But I'm just so glad to have had time with you today and drop into us the soundtrack of like what does this look like to be a joy-informed, creative person living in the Bay Area, listening to you do your thing, listening to the folks like make music. Where would we have been without like the DJs playing on the gram for us for 8, 9, 10 hours during shelter in place? I needed that music. I needed that. I needed to get up and dance because I was scared. I was angry, and my people, my family, they were getting sick, and I needed to dance it out.
We all needed to dance it out, or just vibe out to it, or whatever the healing that you got from that. And so I'm right there with you, because working in radio, folks are quick to be like, you're a DJ, you're a this, and I'm like, no, I do not mix the records. Can I put and curate a little list? Maybe, but I'm not going. Mm-hmm. I'm here to talk. I talk for a living. I get paid to do it because I talk a lot. So why not use my voice for good, right?
That's right.
And for uplifting and for and for positivity. So anyways, I don't want to take up much more of your time because we've got so much from you already. And, thank you for all that you're doing to bring this art and this healing, and really just continue telling these stories as we are having so much change in our country, in our society, in the world, right? And doing it right here at home in the Bay Area. I'm grown right here, and it's such an honor. So thank you again, and man, just appreciative of all you're doing for everybody, not just the youth, but everybody.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I'm looking forward to seeing you with us for the 9 days of radical practice on Instagram at the Artist as First Responder.
Tell them the date. It kicks off when? Get ready.
This Saturday, August 21st through Sunday, August 29th. And on the 29th, I'm actually going to offer a short 3-minute meditation. So at 9 a.m. Pacific time, just a little short 3-minute. People like, I can't meditate. I'm like, let's just do 3 minutes. Can I have your attention for 3 minutes? Because you'll watch a TikTok for 3 minutes.
Right.
Or a reel for 3 minutes, or a YouTube. So,
the next excuse is 9 a.m. That's early.
9 a.m. Oh, come on.
You can do it. You can do it.
You get up and do a Sunday morning for a few minutes.
You can do it.
Radical practice. We can do it. So I'm looking forward to having y'all join us. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.